Okay, it's just a few minutes after 6, so in fact I just called this meeting to order for the Upson County Board of Commissioners for Tuesday, October 24th. If you would at this time, please rise for our invocation. Elsie here to take care of that for us tonight, followed by our pledge.
Let's pray. Father, just take this moment to receive from you. We're so grateful that we were created by you. We just want to execute your will with love and wisdom the best way we know how. And I just bless this board. I bless these folks here. We just come as equals before you, looking for your will to be done in the earth. Father, I just thank you so much that you do represent justice and mercy. I just thank you for this meeting, this time, we honor you. Thank you for wisdom that when we ask, we shall receive. And so, Father, we ask right now for the wisdom for this team, for the servants to come into this county and just bring more of your presence, more of your love into the neighbors, into the community, that we do the highest commandment you ever gave to us, which is love our neighbor as ourselves. We're just grateful for your word, and we just look forward to it being executed tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay. Got a nice crowd tonight. I would ask if you haven't done so already, please make sure your phones are silenced, and you've got a lot to do, so don't need any distractions. So thank you all for coming out. So with that, first item on the agenda is a public hearing for REZ 2023 Tax 02. Applicant property owner George L. Crook of Thomaston, Georgia. It's a rezone 12 existing lots to be combined with a single lot on Bank Street and Sherman Drive from R5 to A4 for agricultural purposes. It's listed, let's see, lots range from 0.71 acres to 7.3 acres more or less, and are further identified as tax parcel 070 alpha 026 through 036 and 044. So with that, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of opening the public hearing? It's unanimous. Okay. All right. So if you would, when I call your name, if you would please come up to either that side or this side and speak clearly, because we are being broadcast and we are being recorded. If you'd state your name and your address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. So, Mr. Crook.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Here.
Hi, I'm George Crook, 103 Bank Street. I'm the one on the petition here. I want to thank you for hearing my position zoning change from the R5 to the AR. April, when I read on Facebook about the chicken zoning change, kind of upset me a little bit. I didn't realize I was out of ordinance. When I started, we had 200 plus chickens on the property, plus 70 roosters, which we've looked, chickens were free ranged. I used them bug control out there on my so-called hobby farm. We removed the roosters, but we sold all of them at one time to got some of the Mexicans. That's all I know about that. We've been dwindling down the size. We're down below 40 chickens now. Still have the chicken coop up. Passed all the regulations that was required. Having 200 feet off the property line, I made sure that was correct. Stuff like that, they passed all that. We got that taken care of. I also have ducks, 2 goats, stuff like that. We're looking to put more goats up on the place to help keep the vegetation down. Mr. Allen was out there the other day. I was talking with him, showing him the property. The land there is not really made for building houses on. It's The ground is full of nothing but rocks. There's a slope, 40 to 70 foot steep on the backside. Past that slope, it drops off probably 85 to 90 more feet down to a creek on the backside. I've been doing the chickens out there right before I moved into the house. I bought it from a John Mullins. And I bought the house and built him a house up on Worthy Street for him, or Worthy Road, as it be. He was the one that informed me that the land wasn't worth building houses on because every time he put up a house, he spent more time removing the rocks. And he's not talking about rocks, he was talking about boulders. I've come across 6 that I could not get up with a D7 bulldozer. They would not move. I've paid a lot of money trying to level the land off, it's not working. So we've been making the hobby farm. I've been selling my eggs up at Crook Brothers Trading Post, the flea market that I own. That's over there on Highway 74. We use that. We do that just to help people out. We sell them $2.50 a dozen. We don't really make anything off of it. It just helps pay for the feed. I've always been into farming. I've been baling everything over 40 years. I've got a lot of heavy equipment out there. I've got 2 100-horse tractors, 2 skid steers. I've got a mini X. I've got 2 trucks, 2 trailers, and everything else I need to do the hay cutting business with. Right now, I've got about 280 bales of hay sitting out there at the end of the road. It is a dead-end street. There's no houses on the back side of it. Closest neighbor is my brother, and then my manager at the store is Tracy Boswell and Jake Boswell. They live right next to him. I've never had any complaints out of any of my people, any of my neighbors, with my animals as of yet. But when I do have a problem, I do take care of the problem. And I encourage them, if they have a problem with anything I'm doing down there, come talk to me first. If we have a problem, I'm a very reasonable man to work with, and easy to get along with. And if it doesn't work out, we're just talking to them, they're more than welcome to get the zoning people involved to straighten this out. Any problem right there. I just hope and pray we can get this taken care of. I can have my little hobby farm. I went from a 132-acre farm out in Yatesville to this 25-acre little thing. And I'm trying to set it up. We've been moving a lot of dirt on the lots, trying to clean them up one at a time, and seeing about rezoning after we're changed over to ag, if that happens. If it doesn't happen, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's about all I have to say about that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Andrew Carroll.
Hey guys. I think most of y'all know me at this point. Yeah, I work for the Beacon, if that much wasn't obvious.
Name and address for the record.
Yep, 10 Bank Street. So I'm one of the only other 2 houses outside of the ones that he mentioned that are on that road. The area is, in my personal opinion, about perfect for what he's looking for. We're way off the beaten path as far as where we're at, as far as, you know, population around us. There's not that many houses in that area. He's had roosters on that property before. Be honest with you, I live up the street, I ain't never heard of him. Didn't even know he had that many. And honestly, I'm not bothered in the least by it. I'd rather him have his hobby farm than have that area turned into a development property like it was originally intended to be. Most of you probably don't know, Jason, you might. Sherman Drive doesn't even technically exist. It does on the maps, but it doesn't exist physically. The properties that are around that, the lots that are around that, are basically all forested at this point, except for the ones that he's cleared. And I am perfectly okay with it staying that way. And to be honest with you, George has been a great neighbor to have. I can't speak more highly of his character. I can't speak more highly of his work ethic. I can't speak more highly of him being out there and being willing to be neighborly to us. George has done a lot of work to help clear our property. I've seen the work that he put in to help Mrs. Mullen after Mr. Mullen passed on. He really is a grand person to be around, and I'm 100% behind him having his hobby farm out there, behind him having his animals, and absolutely go on, do what you need to go do. I'd rather have a hobby farm out there than much more houses. That's what I would rather have. I live as a neighbor to them, and I'm okay with the animals. I'm okay with the roosters. Outside of that, that's all I've got.
Thank you. All right. No one else has signed up for this, so at this point, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? It's unanimous. All right. Jason?
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna be reading portions of Mr. Courier's report. If there's anything that you think I need to cover in more detail, just let me know. But essentially, we're talking about 18 acres consisting of 12 lots, currently heavily wooded areas, single-family home, a large chicken coop, various sheds. The lots front Bank Street, Worthy Drive, Sherman Drive. Sherman Drive is not maintained and recognized as a county road in our road system, so that was correct. The only address lot is 103 Bank Street, where the owner's single-family residence is located. There are currently, so after planning and code enforcement staff had a look, there are some code violations on there now as it exists in its current zoning. Those are listed at the end of section 1 before the beginning of section 2. So the surrounding uses, to the north, there's a cleared lot, heavily wooded single family, it's zoned R5. To the east, heavily wooded single family, also zoned R5. To the south, heavily wooded, zoned AR, and then west, heavily wooded single family, AR and R5. The infrastructure and services are listed at the end of section 2. Section 3 gives you the regulations and the differences between R5 and AR. Generally, what staff likes to do is to highlight portions of review standards. And I would turn your attention to would the rezoning on the top of page 4 have an adverse effect on the insurance rating of the county, overtax public utilities and streets presently existing to serve the site, have a substantial adverse impact on the environment, including but not limited to soil erosion, sedimentation, flooding, air quality, water quality, etc. As it relates to our newly adopted comp plan, so this is item B. So comp plan character area, pertinent goals and strategies. I'm going to skip to the bottom. The current character area map designation for the Crook property is residential, so the intent is to preserve established neighborhoods and foster quality new development that respects the prevailing single-family character with traditional building materials and site design. The listed appropriate zoning districts for that character area are R1, R2, R4, R5, and PR. It goes on to say the intent of the agricultural character area is to preserve and promote and maintain, enhance for commercial, agricultural, farming, livestock, related uses, proving minimal public services. A key purpose for the agricultural character area is to protect and preserve prime farmland for continued agricultural purposes. So, planning staff, their analysis of this, and I'm going to skip to give me 1 second as I work through this here, to their section 5 under staff recommendations. So if the Board of Commissioners approves the rezoning, staff recommends the following conditions. So number 1 would be no additional agricultural uses and structures or expansions of existing uses and structures are permitted until the 11 lots are legally combined and recorded to a new plat and a legal description created. The second recommendation, any commercial chicken or swine operations are prohibited due to the limited setback, the lack of setback requirements according to R27 in our zoning code. All commercial poultry houses, swine barns, structures, enclosed, concentrated feedlot areas, and the like, long-term concentrated holding areas, stockpiles of manure, stack houses, lagoons, and other structures or locations for the storage or disposal of waste or deceased animals shall be placed no closer than 200 feet from the property line, 100 feet from existing residential homes, except those of the owner.
1,000.
Oh, sorry, 1,000, sorry. I apologize. If I'm going, 2,600 feet or 1/2 mile from any city or county residential zoning district. Accessory structures such as equipment, repair shops, offices, and well houses must only meet the accessory structure setback requirements of the zoning district in which they are constructed. Adding additional property to the current lots would mitigate this issue and allow use to meet required setbacks by the special exception. And then planning staff also gives reasons to approve and reasons to deny. I won't go over those, but there was no firm recommendation for approval or denial from planning staff. The Planning Commission, September 11, 2023, unanimously recommended approval 5-0 from R5 to AR. The single recommended condition from the Planning Commission is the following. Any proposed plan to expand the current chicken coop or house, or any proposed plan for additional building or buildings intended to house animals on the property shall be submitted to the Planning Commission for review and approval. And then after that follows the actual application, and then there are some pictures provided by staff, but Jessica, I think when we scanned this, we ended up with them vertical rather than horizontal in some of them. But all the pictures are in your packet, so you can clearly see the lots that are discussed. You can see the property lines. You can see what the combined parcel would look like. And Jessica, I'm on page 22. Maybe you could rotate that. And then that concludes my presentation, Mr. Chairman, but if there are any pictures that you would like staff to show on the display, just let us know and we'll move to them.
Okay, gentlemen, so you have the staff report. Any questions for staff or for anyone else? Okay, so is there a motion on this request?
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning request with the conditions provided from staff.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So just to put it out there, so I have a motion made and second to approve the rezoning request to, and that includes the conditions that no agricultural uses or structures, expansion of existing uses or structure permitted until everything is recorded under one parcel and it's platted with a legal description and everything. Any commercial chicken or swine operations prohibited due to setback requirements, and those were the only two conditions. Is there any discussion? I have one question, Jason or Mr. English. You know, we talk about commercial chicken operation. Do we have that defined anywhere? Is that? And I apologize. I should have thought about that sooner.
Yeah, I
to give
think
us
down
time.
here I was reading a bit ago, some of the terms in here, you know, you can't be but so many feet. I mean, it doesn't really match
And there it is.
Some of the footage away from residential areas and stuff.
For commercial
Right.
poultry.
Right.
So is what he did, what Mr. Cook currently doing considered to be commercial? He's got 50 chickens, getting some eggs. Is that really? So the only part that doesn't,
He's down from 200.
yeah. So at 50, is that considered commercial? Because if it's not, then the way I read this, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, or Mr. Amos, is the condition where it's a mile and a half,
Yeah, but it says chicken operation, right?
commercial chicken operation.
He said he's selling eggs, that's not a chicken operation, that's an egg operation.
No, he's selling the chicken too, he said.
He sold the chicken.
I had to sell
Get rid
chicken.
of
Okay, well, and I'll just state this, I went out there several times and looked at this because, there's not many areas in the county that have been designated as residential, and we are big on, we just approved this comp plan, and we defined character areas and how the county wanted to grow, and so I went, I've not spent a lot of time in this area, and so this area was broken up and designated R5 back in what year?
1972.
1972. There's no county water. There's nothing out there except a few houses and.
The last
Mr.
house
Crook.
built out there was the one I live in until they built Miss Mullins was in
Okay.
1993.
Okay, thank you for that. But so I looked at it, based on staff's recommendation. With those conditions, I don't have a problem with it either. So, is there any further discussion? Any other? We've not had any complaints. It's been properly posted and everything about it. So, any other comments or discussion? Hearing?
The only, according to the thing, he has to present a recorded plat before it's changed. Right?
Yep. Okay. Hearing no further discussion, I have a motion made and seconded to approve the request for rezoning, as we've discussed, with the conditions that have been noted. Hearing no further discussion, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Watson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder.
Yes.
Chairman Allen.
Yes. All right, thank you. Okay, moving right along. Special exception, SPX 2023 TAC 02. Applicant and owner is Mr. Willie Quiller of Upson County. He's requested that Upson County approve an AR special exception for a special event facility to use at 536 Gordon School Road. The indoor and outdoor special event venue use is listed under the special exception section of AR zoning district, section 504B18. And anyway, the 10.25 acre parcel is more referred to as being in land lot 13 of the 16th land district, tax parcel 046 alpha 017. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor? Now the public hearing is now open. So as we just did, as I call your name, if you would come up to either side of the podium here, state your name and your address for the record, and you get 5 minutes. So you got some pretty writing, but I'm having a tough time really.
His name, Debbie.
Okay, beautiful writing.
Debbie Quill.
Yes, ma'am. So come on up. And as she's coming up, let me say this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 people signed up to make comments that show support for this. If during the time that people make comments, if you feel like they've already said what you want to say, and they've said it enough, we're perfectly okay with you telling me to strike your name, or whatever. So we'll get through this. So.
Well, Commissioner Allen, you can stretch mine out.
Well, when I call your name, Gotcha, okay. All right, so, Mr. Quiller, you're signed up too, right? So you can come up here next, but you can stand there, that's okay. So, and again, I also remind everybody that please address your comments to the board through the chair. So with that, ma'am, you've got 5 minutes.
Good evening. We're the Quillers. I'm Debbie, and this is my husband, Willie. We have been residents 368 Marcy Drive here in Thomaston for 39 years. I'm a hospital social worker, discharge planner. I've been employed at Upson Region for 42 years. Willie retired from CSX Railroad and is a self-employed electrician for over 36 years. The purpose of our presence here tonight is to help in opening venue. God has allowed us to be able to purchase 10.25 acres of land in 2018 as an investment for our son, Brian Quiller, our only son, Brian Quiller, who is a registered nurse in the Atlanta area. The requested venue will allow us to service many events such as family reunion, class reunion, wedding reception, birthday parties, and for kids and adults, outdoor movie nights of all ages, family ATV rides, etc. If said proposal is passed, we will allow activities for the youth and adults and family to be able to fellowship in one quiet, safe environment. We currently have a 2-bedroom house and 3 pavilion on the property. The house is used as a guest house. The hours of operation would be Saturday and Sunday from 10 a to 10 p. The main pavilion would consist of dining and a sitting area. The second pavilion would consist of outdoor grilling. It's a grilling area. The third pavilion would consist of miscellaneous like photo shoots, etc. The measures we have taken to ensure safety to all guests attending events the requests of the venue are the following: appropriate lighting, vortex camera installed, accessible porter, and a designated disposable waste area with appropriate bins for all waste to maintain on the property. Please take this request in consideration as as we look forward to providing a safe and friendly venue for our families in the future, near future. And we thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Quiller. Okay, Mr. Quiller, she say it all. You got 5 minutes, sir.
She said it all right.
He's right behind me. I did get some petition signed by my neighbors, and then there's one neighbor that's...
Okay, that's fine if you just put that stuff right there. Okay, Mr. Relaford.
Mario Relaford, I'm their neighbor. I live at 180 Marcy Drive. Been there 12 years. And my son go over to their land all the time and enjoy the property and have fun. I'm at the house. I don't even have to worry about him. He there. Like our area is like a community, and we're like a family down there. It's on our own little section, and that's where we treat it. We don't have to worry about our kids. My son just go for the whole day and he come back. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about it. That event down there, we've been down there a couple times, and everything is laid out perfectly. He done like put his blood, sweat, and tears into the building, permits and everything, building everything nice. They got houses, they got the venues, like she said, and they really put their heart into that area down there. And if you was to visit it, you'll feel it. The feeling of just homeliness. You're at home, and that's all I gotta say. I hope y'all approve it.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Jones? Good. Mr. Revere? You good. Ms. Adams? You good? All right. You did a really good job. Mr. Bedford?
Yes.
So if you just step up, state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Herbert Bedford. I'm one of the probably the latest ones to join the new community in the area. I'm Will's direct neighbor right to the south side. I've got 6 acres over there, and myself, my wife, my mother, my 2 youngest children, 5 grandchildren, all the time over there. Will's done such a great job to that property over there, and he's put in so much work. There couldn't be a nicer neighbor that I'd rather have over there than Will and his family over there. It's a safe spot. It's between myself and the other neighbor on the other side of me over there. The safety is one of my furthest concerns, because like the other gentleman said, this little neighborhood is on lockdown. Everybody knows everybody, and it's a perfect spot. He's got everything done so right over there, and I just couldn't be happier with my neighbor, Will. He's done great.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Got it here somewhere. So, so for the record, we did receive some correspondence from a gentleman who is opposed, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but Samir Osmanovic or something like that. I think I said that close. Just for the board, I think you guys have all seen this as well, but for the record, I'll just state, concerned about losing the peace and tranquility. He talks about this being an ATV park, raising concerns about, noise pollution and potentially negatively affecting his property value, and environmental impact of an ATV park and the erosion control, disruption of wildlife. And he has asked us to take that into consideration, and he has expressed his opinion to not approve. So with that, if no one else signed up for public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Motion made second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Public hearing is now closed. Jason.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to give you 2 things. So at the end of section 2, I'm just going to give you the adjacent property. So the site we're talking about is single-family wooded cleared areas pavilion with an ATV tag zone AR. To the north is a pine plantation zoned AR. To the east is a wooded single-family zoned R5. To the south, wooded single-family AR. And to the west is a pine plantation in AR. And I'm going to skip all the way to the staff recommendations. So if the board considers approval, like the Planning Commission did September 11 when they voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the special exception, there's a real A through K at the beginning of section 4, and I'll go through those recommended conditions. So if the board were to consider approval, the footprint of the event venue shall include a minimum of 5 acres of the 10.25 acre site. Venue events may include the following activities only: weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, and the like. Concerts, fairs, festivals, any motorized vehicle related events or other similar events in impact are prohibited. Commercial fireworks displays prohibited. D, events are limited to a maximum of 300 attendees, excluding event associated catering staff, servers, and other setup and teardown crew. E, no amplified music or other amplified sound beyond 10 p.m. All parking. F, all parking must be on the applicant's property. G, when necessary, as determined by traffic volumes and backups, the owner of or his designee shall provide traffic control on the public streets in coordination with the Sheriff's Department of Upson County. H, any loose trash must be picked up within 12 hours of the conclusion of an event. I, the owner shall pay the appropriate annual occupational tax as a special event venue as it's open for business. The owner shall require that all vendors working on his property have paid their occupational tax. Copies of the vendor's tax certificate shall be available for on-site inspection. J, the special exception is approved for Mr. and Mrs. Quiller as property owners and is not transferable to others. The special exception is null and void at the point of the property transferring hands. And then K, the final one, violations of the conditions of approval may result in a revocation of the special exception by the board.
And then if you read down a little farther, Jason.
Yeah, the planning commission. had
Planning
some
Commission's
additional-
decision.
Yeah.
So the planning commission's basically said all of staff recommended conditions A through J, delete L, and with the modification to D that the maximum number of attendees be 50.
And adding
Yeah.
2 through 4.
Added, no alcohol shall be supplied by the owner. A minimum of 2 portable toilets. 2 portable toilets shall be supplied per event due to the lack of permanent on-site facilities. And the driveway shall be wide to accommodate the ability of 2 cars to pass one another at the same time. And that was the Planning Commission's recommendations. Okay?
And just as a reminder, I know the chairman and all the board members know this, you can use any and or all or none of those.
I've got a couple
Yeah.
questions.
Well, let's get a motion on it first, okay? So is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve it with some of the staff recommendations.
You know, which some?
Yes, the special C, I like the C that says, even it's a limited, no, it says concert fairs, festivals, and motorized vehicle. He got a track ground for 4-wheeler. And that's a motorized, that would be a motorized vehicle.
So you're saying you want it, you're
I'd like to
saying
see that one deleted.
you want to include commercial firework displays?
This commercial fireworks is okay to be here, but a portion of that C should be deleted about the motorized vehicle. I mean,
So
It says prohibited.
they said prohibited, motorized vehicle prohibited.
you want to allow motorized vehicles?
Yes, he has his family with children that ride 4-wheelers.
Yeah, but, okay.
Excuse me, may I say something
No,
about that?
no,
No, not yet?
no. I think we got you covered, sir.
Okay.
Give us a so, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, I asked for a motion. I think we need to discuss this a little bit, to
Yeah, that's-
clarify this a little bit, okay?
Some of my
So
questions may adjust the motion.
We got a second.
let's,
I think y'all read it wrong. Can y'all read it again?
no, hey, and I ask y'all, this is our time. You had your time, I'm sorry, okay. I got you. I got you. So, please.
Second discussion.
All right, so I asked for a motion, I have Commissioner Wilder, and if y'all would, please, let's just have a discussion on some of the criteria here. There's a lot here that we've been asked to look at. So Commissioner Wilder, you're saying, item C, where it says, concerts, fairs, festivals, any motorized vehicle related to the event, or any motorized vehicle related events, or other events similar in impacts are prohibited. I don't think that's meaning to say there's a family they can't go out there and use their ATVs. Is that's the way
That's the way I'm interpreting it. It's just saying they can't rent it for an event.
They can't
For
host
people to go out.
any race or.
Do you, again,
I'm
So-
like,
we
not
need to
rented
clarify.
for an event is fine, but I don't want it to be limited to where he couldn't,
Right.
he and his family couldn't ride a motorized.
right,
vehicle.
just the way it's worded, the way I interpret it, Mr. English, if you verify that, any motorized vehicle related events or other events similar in impacts are prohibited. So as long as he's not having ATV races.
Right.
Or,
Renting out.
renting out people to go out there and charge people to ride their ATVs, but it's for his own personal use, his family's use, and his friends' use.
We can't restrict that.
Yeah, anyway, so there's that one.
Yeah, I'm.
What, okay, well, I'll just go through these. I mean, the footprint of the venue shall include a minimum of 5 acres. I'm not really sure why we say it had to be a minimum. Mr. Quill, I have a question for you. How many acres does this place where you've improved it for this venue take up of your property here?
All of it.
Okay.
So it goes all the way around it.
What's the total acreage?
10.25. Okay.
They're just saying a minimum of 5, but if he's using 10,
He's well within that.
All right, so we don't need to talk about that with him. Venue events may include the following activities only: weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, and the like. I don't know how you would restrict anything. If the intent of saying that is we're trying to restrict something, I don't know what it restricts. I mean, and the like, Mr. English, I mean, it sounds like any kind of family.
I think you need to be specific in what you're wanting to prevent and move forward from there.
Yeah,
Well, I think you keep on reading, and it'll kind of, fix itself.
yeah, I was, okay, we already talked about item C. Item D, events are limited to 300 is what staff had. Planning Commission knocked it down to 50.
That was my,
That's
that's my question.
what is that's not even reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we impose? We have other venues like this. We don't have like a roadmap of how to
Yeah.
get here from there.
The staff's recommendation was 300.
I mean, look, if he's trying to do the right thing here. This is, I mean,
So what's your recommendation?
Leave it as the
300.
D.
All right. No amplified music or amplified sound after 10 p.m. That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, that's what we impose on
All parking
events.
must be on the applicant's property. That would be understood. And when necessary, I mean, if you ever had any situation down there where you needed traffic control, it would be incumbent upon them to make arrangements for it.
At their own expense now. We did impose that on some of the other venues. They just can't call the sheriff and say, hey, we need you to send 2 deputies out here to direct traffic. They would have to contract with the sheriff's department in order to provide that service.
So
Maybe we just need to clarify
at
that.
owner's expense, if required, or at owner's expense.
Yeah.
Any loose trash must be picked up within 12 hours. Owner shall pay appropriate annual occupation tax as a special events venue open for business. I'm not real sure about this part, though. The owner shall require that all vendors working on the property have paid their occupation tax. How are they gonna know that?
Yeah, that ain't, I mean.
No. Harper's and all them, we made them do
Yeah.
that when we
Yeah,
signed them up.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Okay.
this was not a list that, I know for sure that we didn't come up with. This was a cut and paste from like 4 of the other.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
These are very, very consistent
Oh,
with
yeah.
all the other
Yeah.
venues we have. So,
Bingo. And then it's non-transferable, it's to Mr. and Ms. Quiller, and that's it. And as with everything else, any violations may result in the revocation. Then the Planning Commission, they recommended the conditions, they deleted L, and I don't see L
There's
on
no L,
here.
yeah.
With modification of D, that was knocking it down to 50, and then they added, no alcohol shall be supplied by the owner. What did we do with the others?
You gotta have a license in order to provide the alcohol, I mean, but, that's, we don't.
Those are separate regulations.
Yeah, those are regulations
Yeah.
that we don't.
We don't need to.
We don't approve.
A minimum of 2 portable toilets shall be supplied per event.
Well, I think they need to adjust that per how many people will be there. Yeah, attendees, I mean,
Are there any-
two toilets for 300 people ain't gonna
Are there
work.
any facilities down there now? You have toilet facilities on site? Are they permanent or they're permanent?
One of them permanent with water running in the
Okay.
house, inside the house there,
Yeah.
and one of them is a porta potty that just stays there.
Okay, so you have,
But you living in the house though.
No, we don't.
Oh, you
that's, They, yeah, they don't
That's
reside
his
there.
house. We live down the Eagle.
Okay, and the driveway should be wide to accommodate the ability of two cars to pass one another at the same time. Have we made that a requirement on any of them? I don't know.
I don't think we've
I don't
crossed
think
that
so.
bridge. So,
Just for
No, we
traffic,
didn't make that requirement.
traffic control.
I went down there, and the driveway is about 16 feet wide. I got my measure tape and measure. I also rode around the track with the golf cart. I mean, you can't have any competition running around the track. It's just not conducive for that.
But as far as getting in and off the property,
You
there's
can
no
get in and out,
problem.
you-
If they got cars,
You can get in and out, you know, I don't know how wide, I mean,
Okay.
a car, two cars can leave at 16 feet.
okay, so, let's go back to this. You want to restate your motion, Mr. Waller?
I offer a motion that we approve with the staff and recommendation and the changes that we just went over.
So, okay, and I'll highlight that one more time for the record before. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. So I have a motion made and seconded to approve the special exception. And to include only those conditions in the staff's recommendations from item B through item K. And the revision to D that included 300 attendees, up to a maximum of 300 attendees.
It reads
And,
that way, Mr. Chairman, in the staff recommendation.
right, that's, okay. And then item G would just add the words at owner's expense, if there was an expense that needed to be incurred to get deputies down there to work
Traffic control.
traffic control. Okay, did I state that? well
Yes,
enough?
yes.
Ms. Jones, is that good enough for you? Good enough?
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
You started at B.
Yes,
But-
IA was stricken.
Right, but, county attorney said with B, if you wanted to
Right.
not do something, then we need to state exactly what you don't want to do instead of saying all what you can do.
We heard that. I don't
So
think there's
leave it
anything,
at-
is there anything that we need to add that we don't want? I mean, it sounds like weddings, cookouts, and the like.
I can't think of anything
So
that we don't
leaving
want.
B.
If you just start putting weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, there's going to be something that comes up that would be like this. That, you know, I don't, so you think we just? I think we
I'm just
leave it
saying
as
it's
is.
very open-ended. It would make more sense if there's something in particular that you're trying to prevent.
I don't know that we're trying to prevent anything, so how would you word that?
Strike it.
Just get rid of the like.
We don't ever want to like turn into a nightclub. I don't think that's intentional.
May include activities. How about activities such as weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, period? Would you be happier with that?
I would be happier with that, but I would prefer just to specify weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties.
Mr. McClure, is there anything besides weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, and birthday parties that you would anticipate having down there? Can you think of any other function you would have down there?
It's red dirt.
I understand, but is there any other functions that you would like to have down there listed on your?
Man,
Go ahead, go ahead.
baby shower. What if you wanted to do, like he just said, anniversary party, baby showers? What about, like movie nights for kids? That's an activity though. So, again,
That we're painting ourselves in a corner here trying to list everything.
I think you strike it, and I think you strike it,
I think
and
we
we,
strike the like, and I think we can be fine.
or strike the whole thing. Strike the whole thing, because we said and see what is prohibited. And if we're in agreement to it, it sounds like either we add to that if we have something else that we want to prohibit.
I was gonna suggest, as far as C was concerned, it sounded like y'all were good with everything and just add, commercial event, prevent commercial events.
See?
Right.
we really don't want to see wrestling down there. Events like that.
Yeah. Fairs, but, so, I'm trying to finish B, so, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say venue events may include the following activities such as weddings, cookouts, family reunions, class reunions, birthday parties, period. And then there's room there for other things. C, concerts, fairs, festivals, any motorized related events or other events similar in impacts are prohibited. What's the problem with that, do y'all? Commercial fireworks prohibited. I think we got it now.
You just said.
Well, the motorized vehicles.
Motorized vehicle related events. An event.
Events.
You know, so that says, you know, where they're charging money to come down here, like
That's why
ATV races, things like that.
That's why I suggested adding commercial.
Any
Commercial event. If it's a commercial event where you're down there charging for racing, you can't do it. But if you're out there with your friends.
Okay, so you're saying add the word, any commercial motorized vehicle related events. Okay. All right. Okay. Do I need to read them all? I can do it.
No.
I can see. It would take me just a second.
You ain't done yet, so go ahead.
I think that's it. I think we've gone through them all. So to restate the motion, I have a motion to approve with these changes made by Commissioner Wilder, seconded by Commissioner Ellington. Is there any more discussion? Hearing no further discussion. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Chairman Adams?
Yes. Thank you for your patience. We got through it.
It's been a long day.
Okay, next on the agenda, let's do something noteworthy here. We have a little recognition that we need to do here. Public comments are next. Jason, you want to?
Yes. I need to read though because our staff cleaned house the other night and I can't remember it all. So we're here tonight to recognize the members of our recreation staff who, at their annual banquet, GRPA or Georgia Recreation and Parks Association, were awarded for, and let me get back to my picture. There we go. Okay. So, the awards are as follows. So, the first award that GRPA gave to us, and specifically Donna Brown, was Administration Network Outstanding Support Staff. So, is Donna here?
Yes, she is.
Stand up if you will, and I'll stand up with you. So, that's one. Award number 2 went to, it says William Norden. I'm also a William, Jason. So, Paul received the Parks Maintenance Network Professional Award. So, if Paul, if you would, please stand and be recognized. So the entire agency was awarded the Outstanding Project Award for what they call Back to the Future. And can one of y'all remind me what Back to the Future is?
Basically, what Back to the Future is basically redoing your work area, your building, what you're going from the back to renovating to the future, as in TVs, internet, and all other stuff. So you're going from what we used to have to the future.
So basically for all the renovation work and
Right.
and technology improvements we've done to the Civic Center over the last few years. So.
Okay, I got it now.
And then lastly, they were awarded the Athletic/Aquatic Network Outstanding Program for Sensory Days. And Kim, do you want to give us a brief synopsis about what Sensory Days are? I think the board knows, but.
So I created Sensory Days last year, It's specifically for our special needs kids, for them to have something to do. I had a lot of parents reach out stating that they wanted their kids to not be included. So all of our programs are already inclusive, but some of them would rather not. They want a slower pace. They wanted to be with themselves, so they came up themselves with the Thomas and Upton Inclusions. That's their name. So we started with T-ball and baseball, and we had 7 kids, which, believe it or not, that's a lot for what it was. I got Mr. Paul. I kind of volunteered him to be my coach for these kids, and he did a great job with them. They really enjoyed it. They're actually still going, and I've been telling them to stop so I can start with the next group. But we also had Sensory Mondays on during the summer for the pool. So this day is when our cleanup day on Monday. So this is the day that we open the pool just for those kids and their families with no extra people, just them for free, and they enjoyed it the whole summer. So next up, we got basketball for our inclusion kids.
Awesome. Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, the proof's not just in how they manage their budget, how they satisfy their customers. The proof's in their numbers. They've got record numbers of registration and enrollment in these. So we're about every season we're setting new bars. We're setting the bar higher and higher. We're breaking our own records. So we're also setting the floor a lot higher every year. So we got to keep achieving because we want to keep growing. I do want to recognize our director, Ms. Johnson, who is home with a sick kid tonight. So she wasn't able to make it, and she accepted, I believe, the Back to the Future award at the event. So we do have it out on our social media, but I wanted to take the opportunity to recognize our recreation staff who are just absolutely crushing it on every level. And it's one thing for us to say you're doing a good job, but when the state of Georgia says that you're doing a good job, I think you're really making a great impression, and you're really making us look good. You're showing people that Thomaston and Upson County is a desirable place to live because we offer great programming, and quality of life really, they're a huge part of our quality of life and the different programs and offerings we have at the Civic Center, through our athletic programs, through our adult programs. So I wanted to take the opportunity, and if I could, just ask for a temporary suspension of the rules, and maybe we could applaud that.
I don't think we need to say any more than what Jason just said. Y'all know how much we appreciate what you do and the challenges you face every day, but the results of your hard work are becoming more and more evident. So keep it up. All right. Gentlemen, next on the agenda are public comments, and we got a few. So again, as I call your name, if you would please come up here to the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 5 minutes, and again, address your comments to the board through the chair. So with that, Mr. Johnson, good to see you, sir.
Billy Johnston. You want name, rank, serial number?
Just address, sir.
I'll give you that too. 431 Trinity Road. All y'all know fairly recently, the young girl got killed from the rock, the elderly girl. She was about the 5th one that I know of that died at that intersection, and possibly 6, but I know of 5. And I was contacted this Highway Department about it after that happened, and they told me I'd have to have a letter from the commissioners for a traffic study. So I wrote a letter to the commission, and I got a few signatures on it. There's several in here. I know one that you go, how many times a day you go by that intersection? There's a lot of people use that intersection. And the day after the lady got killed, this last one, the state highway went out there and put up a sign this big under the stop sign on Trinity Road on both sides. And it says, cross traffic must not stop. Does that make sense? If somebody comes at that intersection and they think it's a 4-way stop, they go ahead across the highway, and that, it doesn't make sense. But we've got school buses, we got trucks coming in there. The state, I've talked to the county about moving their sign. They finally got it up right at the highway, but the highway department won't let them put their sign where it comes, it says Trinity Road. They need through truck sign right there. We're getting 5 to 10 trucks a day coming up and down Trinity Road, both ways. And it's super dangerous when they're coming from 36 over and then they turn and go to Macon because they're crossing that lane. And you can't see. You just can't see. When my wife and I pull up there, first of all, if anybody's coming from town, we wait till they get by. In case somebody does come over the hill, they got room to get by. And the other thing is we have to roll the window down, cut the radio off, air conditioner, blink on everything else and try to listen, which I can't hear anyway. But we try to listen to see if anything coming. And of course, early in the morning, go down at 5 o'clock, you can see the lights, no problem. But when you get out of there, you got to get on it and get out of the way because you can see the skid marks out there on both sides. And something needs to be done about that intersection. You know, they spend $4 million on this roundabout. I don't know if anybody ever got killed there in this highway. But, you know, there's going to be some more deaths out there. You ought to, my brother and I, all the pecans, they go to Fort Valley. We put them on peanut wagons and we pull them with a pickup truck, sometimes 2 wagons behind the truck. When we go out that intersection, we have to get somebody on top of the hill to watch for traffic before we pull out. And I mean, it's just, something needs to be done. Maybe they put a blinking light there, or they can put the through truck sign up on the highway, that would help. Or they can put speed bumps, or they can take that hill down. And I'd give them the land to put the dirt on if they wanted, you know. But something needs to be done about it because we're gonna have some more deaths out there, you know.
Okay, sir.
And this girl, I got this petition, I just got about 59 names. I thought about going to the grandmother down there in Yatesville and getting her to sign it, but I didn't really want to stir that up, you know. She doesn't need to sign it. I could have took it to school and got 1,000 signatures, but I didn't want to do that. But I got everybody on Trinity Road to sign it. One couple got young children that they're concerned about when they start driving. And I know people that go through town and they go around that thing just to miss that one intersection. So if y'all, I've got a copy. I don't know if I'd like. Let me just give you those. Y'all pass them around if you would. And give everybody one. I think. Let's see. Let me give you this. There's enough for 7 of them. Y'all can read the thing and have kind of tell you something about it. And just do what you can.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I would appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sure the people would too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, next is,
You can't read my name.
I know that voice though.
You know the
Mr. Mayor, if you would, sir, if you can. I mean,
Hey, my name is Bill Mayer, live Day Road, Meansville. Comments are such. We got a road called Hannah's Mill. The bridge is still out. We've heard no discussions from this Board of Commissioners on when we're going to get that road open again. I mean, it's quiet as mice out there. I have done some checking around and I talked to the DOT about that road and offered some suggestions. However, our governor has about $3.3 billion worth of excess funds that they're going to buy toilet paper with. We need this board to get up there with the governor and see about getting some money to help us open that road up. Now, for some of you that don't know, that's a shortcut to the hospital for the people that live at Northside. Avoids all the traffic on Highway 19. I mean, we're growing traffic lights just like we fertilize the pavement out there. Hannah's Mill is a good cut through for all the people at Northside from the west side of the county to get to the business area downtown. Now, on another point, Mr. Chairman, you made a comment
in the newspaper that come budget time, you're gonna have pissed off people. Well, as far as the budget goes, and consider me one of them. This board, for some reason, has gone out of the way to make sure that people like me, who work in Atlanta and don't get home till 7, 8 o'clock at night, we have no access to these meetings. We don't get to voice our opinions. You hold your work sessions out at the airport between 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. People who work out of town, we can't go there. We just have to hear about it from the news media. You want people to get involved. How can people get involved if you want to hold your sessions whenever you choose to? What we fail to realize is you're a servant of the public. We're not your servant. You need to work to help people understand these budgets. Now, each of you gets an expense check every month, regardless of what you do. This is expense money for you to go out and meet the public, go out and do what you have to do. When was the last time you held a town hall meeting to get people to come and hear what you've got to say? Mr. Jones, I've never heard of a town hall meeting for the 3rd District, and you're my representative. And I am addressing you, but I'm also making my point. It's time you use your expense money and get out here and meet the public, one-on-one. And Mr. Chairman, I know what's on your mind right now. You're going to say, well, we have these town halls, nobody comes. What difference does it make? You're our elected representative. You're there for the people. We're not there for you. You're there for us. And we need to take a look at it before this budget comes out. And we need to give people the opportunity to address you other than standing here and you folks just sit there looking down. Granted that they can sign up and we can have a discussion till the cows come home. But most people don't know how to do that. You know that as well as I do. But anyway, something's got to change before you finalize this budget. And this holding budget hearings at 8 o'clock in the morning or sometime when people can't be there needs to change. You need to get out and touch the people. Thank you.
All right. And Miss Rayburn?
I thought this was a login sheet, like, hey, I'm here. I'm moving into the county from the city, so this is my first meeting, so I apologize.
Well, welcome. All right. Ms. Jones? Monique Jones?
Wrong one. She said the wrong one.
You got pretty handwriting too. Mr. Revere? Ms. Adams? Mr. Bedford?
Nope, I think I signed the wrong one too.
That's okay. All right. All right, well, that covers that. So have no more public comments, so we'll move on. Okay, gentlemen, you have for you the consent agenda tonight. For your considerations, the approval of the September 26, 2023 regular meeting minutes and approval of the October 4th, 2023 special call meeting minutes. Can I have a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Watson. Commissioner Ellington.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder.
Yes.
Chairman Allen.
Yes. All right, moving along. New business. Item C is the discussion and possible consideration of the purchase of a vehicle for the sheriff's office for the budget amendment for the purchase. So,
Mr. Chairman, if it would please the board, I would, our CFO worked with the sheriff to prepare this presentation. I would defer to him.
okay.
Appreciate it.
There he is.
You ever need that,
Okay. All right. We'll hold off on just a second, let these folks that are leaving leave. All right. Okay, Mr. Salter.
Mr. Chairman, the sheriff is requesting the purchase of a new Ford Explorer from Wade Ford, which Wade Ford is actually a dealer that we've dealt with a number of times in the past. They also hold a statewide contract on police interceptors. So there was no need for us to go any further in seeking additional quotes for a vehicle. The total cost for the vehicle is $40,799. He is requesting the purchase of this vehicle to replace one of his vehicles that he has lost through an accident, and the vehicle was totaled. We presently have $98,000 in recognized revenues from insurance recoveries this year thus far. So there are sufficient funds. We don't budget for insurance recoveries, so whatever we receive, obviously is more revenues for us. But basically, those revenues are replacing lost costs through accidents. The total cost of the vehicle plus the estimated cost for the equipment for the vehicle is $4,445. So he's asking for, a total purchase of $45,244, of which we have sufficient funds to cover that in our insurance recoveries.
Okay. Staff recommends approval.
We recommend the purchase of the vehicle.
There's an associated budget amendment with it as well, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm struck there.
Is that?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is an associated budget amendment with it, so we would be amending the 2023 budget to increase revenues in the general fund in our reimbursement for damaged vehicles account by $45,244, and we'd be increasing expenditures for capital outlay vehicles within the sheriff's department of the same amount.
Okay. All right, so gentlemen, staff recommends approval on this purchase, and you have also the resolution to amend the 2023 general fund budget before you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve based on staff recommendation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so I'll restate it. I have a motion made and seconded to appropriate, if y'all, $45,244, which is the purchase of a replacement Ford police interceptor from Wade Ford and the associated equipment. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Alan and Mike can answer this one. So the other vehicles that have been wrecked, we got money from them. Did we not replace them, or where does that stand?
He hasn't asked, this is the only one thus far. So this would, not all of it, this is an accumulation of insurance proceeds from different vehicles, including we did receive some insurance proceeds from damage to the senior center van. That's all in this pot of money, but he hasn't requested any more. He requested 5 vehicles earlier in the year from SPLOST, but this is the only replacement vehicle he's requested.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, have a motion made and seconded to authorize this purchase. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay. Discussion and possible consideration of an energy savings agreement with Snyder Electric.
So, technically, Mr. Chairman, we're asking the board to approve, let me get to my executive summary, what we're calling an investment grade audit agreement. So, just as a refresher from work sessions gone past, it's basically a document or an agreement between Schneider and us to conduct an investment grade audit, or what we call an IGA, of a number of our facilities which are listed in that agreement. I'll go over that. It'll identify and evaluate energy conservation measures that can reduce energy operating costs, and propose a scope of work for the project for Schneider to implement such performance measures on. It also specifies terms and conditions. So as a quick refresher, an investment grade audit is a study to identify and evaluate and recommend a package of energy and operating savings to our facility. So what we're trying to do is lump that in with needed renovations to facilities, so when we vacate facilities for our new Justice Center, that we can efficiently reconvene on campus here with the folks that are remaining in our outlying facilities that will eventually vacate. So if you'll turn your attention to the agreement itself, aside from what I've said, so our liability for this is under the payment section on page 3 towards the bottom. So essentially, if we enter into the design of these projects and do not move forward with a project at all, we would be expected to pay an exit fee of $125,000. So that would be to minimally cover all of Schneider's work, design work. So we're talking about the 3 facilities we identify in the agreement are the administrative complex, which essentially we're saying our Lee building and our Drake building, our Upson County Sheriff's Office and detention facility, and potentially some ball field renovations and lighting. So I'd like to thank Commissioner Jones. We had one more follow-up meeting before we put it on the agenda for your approval. So he sat in with the staff and some folks from Schneider Legal. He had some questions. Hopefully we were able to answer those. As you may know, staff leans on him sometimes because he's our facilities guru. But staff recommendation for this is approval. We'd like to go ahead and get working on design for renovations for the Drake building specifically, because when we're due to occupy our new justice facility in October of next year, we would like to have a plan for relocation for outlying facilities so that we can surplus them.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this, and I'm trying to facilitate more of a conversation on this before I ask for a motion. We, but mainly you and Alan and others have spent a lot of time working this, and this is not the first time we've heard this. So, but it is the first time some people in the room have hearing this. So, so if I'm somebody sitting out here and I'm thinking, well, they're fixing to spend $125,000, what do I get for it? So if we could just kind of, what is the return on the investment for the $125,000? Commissioner Jones, I mean, you were there, so if you want to, so what, it's $125,000 that we got to pay.
That's an exit.
Yeah, I know, I didn't finish.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't execute an agreement for this energy savings proposal. So just bring it back to me one more time.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
All right, so we don't know what it's gonna cost us, but we're gonna enter into agreement costing $125,000 to really find out what it's gonna cost us. And if we don't feel like we need to spend that money, then we're gonna lose the $125,000. That kind of the gist.
No doubt about it. But I would submit to the board that if you went and paid an architect to do the same work, you'd be looking at $1 million.
Yeah.
And potentially not doing a project.
And so if remembering our discussion on some of this is
you don't get anything if you have to exit.
Say,
Correct? So you don't get anything if we exit it, except you gotta pay them.
there's no product is what you're saying.
Right.
There's no
design or no plans or anything like that.
Plans or anything.
So they get, does the contract require that they surrender any products that they've done to us for that, or? I don't know, we get a little too deep in the weeds here. I think what I was trying to point out is that they're going to come in here and, they're going to leverage other financial funding opportunities for this project. That's what I've been.
Correct.
So
aside from
right, so
what we're dealing with, we're dealing with the renovation of an old building. We're not building a new one. So we already know that there are aspects of these facilities that are inefficient. So it's one thing to go and change all of the different aspects of the physical plan of these buildings to make them efficient. They're still stuck in the same floor plan that don't necessarily meet the needs of the incoming folks that will be utilizing the space. So with that, we need to also include in the project scope some renovations and some space needs analysis so that we can say, okay, well, if an office is going from a DA's office to a tax assessor's office, what are going to be some of the other things that we need to do to accommodate that? So we're rolling in energy efficiency and renovation design work into one contract. And if we execute that contract, we're also rolling the construction in it. So it's simply just a different model than the one we're using now with Parish Construction, which is a construction manager at risk. This is simply just yet another delivery model for project deliveries.
And if we don't, let's say we enter into the agreement and the savings aren't what is in the report, we would have some type of payback for that. Is that correct? I know she's out there, so I see her shaking her head.
But chances of that are slim and none, because they're gonna make sure they're on target. So if
Well,
not,
we
they
hope they're on target.
Yeah, if not, they lose money.
Yeah, exactly.
and so and again, just to remind everybody, so the purpose for all this is we're consolidating. We're getting out of some old buildings. We're consolidating. We're bringing county functions to a complex here that will allow for better parking, better security, and basically get us out from underneath a couple of old buildings that we're not struggling, but we're maintaining now. So,
the alternative to this would be to go back to our designers and have them put a scope of work together and just contract with a design firm, which I think in the case of the construction of the Judicial Center was about, what, 1.4 million. Then we get a design, then we take that design out to bid and we see what it is. This way we kind of really control it from the beginning. And we have access to a number of different revenue streams, grants and such, because we're pursuing energy savings rather than just a straight renovation.
So we go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
you said something earlier.
I'm not sure I can say much more.
I just got a motion when that time comes.
Chair, I'll entertain a motion.
This has I like to make a motion that we table this for tonight. We convene again, and I need to know more as a commissioner to be able to make an informed decision. Because we've workshopped and we've had a couple different commissioners there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I want to be able to form my own opinion. Because it's more than just $125,000. That's not what concerns me as much as the fact that 125. We're looking at potentially having to spend a larger amount than that, millions of dollars. And I need more information. I want to go into it with all the information in front of me and sitting here trying to read this legal contract, basically saying, I mean, it's clear as mud to me.
So your motion
is that we table it until we can workshop this. I'm not talking about tabling it for 6 months. I'm talking about table it to the years when we can workshop this and set aside some time to discuss. We can't just have a 25-minute discussion on this
Well, we had a whole work session over it,
Yeah, but it was, no, we didn't have a whole work session.
a big portion of it.
Yeah, but we didn't really discuss what the outcome was if it came back and we said.
Okay, let me clear this up just a little bit, make it get us back on track. So I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll say.
And so I have a motion made to table until,
November 1st is the next work session.
you want a work session or you want a regular meeting?
No, work session.
Work session.
Work session.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion made, seconded to table to our next work session in November. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Watson?
No.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. So, Jason, can you, let's have some.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure what more I can do.
I know. Well, let's, what I'm gonna ask is, let's see if we can get
I told you.
folks back and let's go over the current terms of the contract so that we can clearly understand it a little bit better, and understand what the risks are, and understand what the return on the investment actually would look like. I get it, I understand. Been a lot of work on this, you know, so, but anyway, there you have it. All right. Next on the agenda, discussion and possible consideration of Resolution 14, TAC 2023. It's a resolution urging the Governor and General Assembly of Georgia to continue efforts to reform and improve mental health services for the citizens of Georgia. Let's see, where is it? I'll read it. Resolution urging the Governor and General Assembly of Georgia to continue efforts to reform and improve mental health services for the citizens of Georgia. Whereas being a constitutional level of government closest to their constituent, Georgia counties are on the front lines of responding to mental health issues within the community as well as the development of mental health reform efforts. And whereas the Upson County Board of Commissioners supports efforts designed to provide every citizen in need to have accessible, affordable, and adequate mental health services. And whereas the Upson County Board of Commissioners is grateful for the efforts of Georgia's executive, legislative, and judicial branches in working towards mental health reform in recent years, such as the passage of House Bill 1013 in 2022 and the introduction of House Bill 520 in 2023, Chief Justice Boggs' work on jail diversion initiative, and Governor Kemp's commitment to expanding mental health resources in schools for children and young adults. And whereas, despite these prior steps and successes, the Upson County Board of Commissioners recognizes that there is still a tremendous amount of work for the citizens of Upson County and other citizens across Georgia to receive adequate health care for mental health and substance abuse disorders. And now therefore it be resolved, the Upson County Board of Commissioners, that Upson County government reaffirms its commitment to reforming and improving mental health services for its citizens and all citizens of Georgia. Be it further resolved, the Upson County Board of Commissioners specifically urges Governor, the General Assembly to continue efforts in the 2024 session of the Georgia General Assembly to enhance Georgia citizens' access to vital mental health services, including the provision of state budgetary funding for additional behavioral health crisis centers across the state, additional co-responder units, and other resources to assist those with mental health and substance abuse disorders. Be it further resolved, the Clerk of the Board of Commissioners is hereby directed to provide an executed copy of this resolution to each member of the Upson County delegation, to the Georgia Senate and Georgia House of Representatives, and to the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. So resolved, the 24th day of October 2023. Is there a motion on this resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There is no discussion. Ms. Jones?
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay, gentlemen, next, discussion and possible appointment to the Board of Elections to fill an unexpired term. You have before you one application for this position, Mr. Westbury. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we feel this, we can offer this position to Mr. William Westbury.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion made and seconded appointing Mr. William Westbury to the Upson County Board of Elections. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ellington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilder?
Yes.
Chairman Allen?
Yes. Okay. All right. Last on our agenda is an executive session to discuss personnel, and we don't anticipate any votes or anything after that. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and do the comments portion before going into executive session. So, Jason.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be brief. I just want to thank the board for letting us have the better half of your afternoon from 1:30 basically until now. As you can see, it's been a fairly challenging budget season for staff, and it's also equally as challenging for the board, I see, but I felt like the feedback we got and the back and forth, I told the chairman before we started the meeting that, you know, having the board's eyes on this now is actually a bit of a relief for us because we've been looking at it so much, but I felt like we had a terrific back and forth dialogue. We heard from several of our leadership team and from our CFO, so I feel like we're on the right track. So thank you. I mean, it's a lot, and I know you're going to invest a lot more time in it, so thank you for letting us schedule you for that, and we'll look forward to seeing you again Thursday.
Okay, if you would, and I'm not gonna put you, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here, but for a comment, would you, you know, Mr. Johnson, you know, his comments, you know, they obviously resonate with the entire community, and you and I have talked about that. Can you comment on, you've had a discussion with the State Highway Department, haven't you?
I have. So based on his request to us, it's something that the board can request a study be done. So I know that DOT has looked at it independently, but they said if it's something that the board wants them to look at further, all it would take is a request from the board, and they would do it. They would do a full-blown study.
Okay. So any cost associated with that to us?
None. No cost.
So it's no cost. So it's a no-brainer. So I don't think we
Make a
need.
motion to,
Well, we can't do that now. What I was going to suggest is, if you would get a resolution to us at our next meeting, and we'll do that at our next meeting and get the DOT out there to take a look at it. Okay. And if it may help expedite things, if you just let leadership out there know that they can expect to see it.
I will.
Within the next 2 weeks, and maybe if they can jumpstart it, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
No, sir. I see. I'm just thank the rec staff one more time. I see Paul still with us.
Ms. Jones, we owe you anything? I know I do. And Mr. Wilder owes you something. You gave it to us a while ago, said you needed it. That Operation Green.
And I'm gonna try to schedule a picture for Thursday also, sometime right after our meeting.
Okay. And just for everybody, if anybody's ridden by the courthouse or any of the buildings and they've noticed there's a green tint to it, it's not for Halloween. Okay? We're kind of out there. Across the state of Georgia, there's an initiative to, it's called Operation Greenlight, and it goes in concert with Veterans Day. So you'll see more things. There's stuff out there on social media. You'll probably see some stuff in the paper. Dave, if you could help us with that, kind of get the word out. But it's going to culminate during the week of Veterans Day to recognize, you know, the contribution of veterans, obviously, especially those in our community. So it's not for Halloween. It's for Veterans Day. It's for veterans. So, Mr. English?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Wilder?
I don't have anything except that I will make sure I get Ms. Jones that paperwork back to her tomorrow.
I don't want her yelling at me.
I just appreciate everybody coming, and we can't see the YouTube, but hopefully people are watching on YouTube, and we're thank you for watching.
I really don't have none, but I would like to respond to one of the public comments. Hannah's Mill Road Bridge. That we have reached out to our federal partners, our state senator, our local representative, both Democratic and Republican. I think You helped us.
US Centers.
Yeah, we have reached out to everybody. We haven't left doors unknocked about that situation.
Letters have been written.
Well, we've written letters as a board addressing it. We just, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do. You know, when you contact the folks and you ask and you beg and you plead, and you're getting no response, that's where we're at. It's not falling on deaf ears. I'm upset about it too. It impacts my driving. But it's a $5 million project. DOT says they're gonna cover it, but they're gonna cover it at their time, not our time. So I'm open for suggestions.
Can I add to that? And Jason, please jump on too.
I was going to ask if Commissioner Ellington would let me in, because I think I spoke to the chairman and Commissioner Ellington both, is that we've recently reached out to the, we've added someone to the list. We've added the Lieutenant Governor's office to that list. So, matter of fact, I had a meeting with their staff 12 days ago. So, and I think I sent that gentleman's contact to Commissioner Ellington. I don't know if you've had a chance to follow.
I have left them a voicemail.
And Senator Kennedy's staff has worked with us on trying to find other funding sources for it. But the bottom line is, you know, it's going to get done. And you know, if we had written a check for $6 million the day they closed that bridge, it would still be going under right-of-way acquisition and design, and we probably wouldn't have gotten it any faster. But it's my understanding that the local DOT is already doing some preliminary work on this ahead of, so that when it comes out, they're already leaps ahead of where it would have to be if it was just some project out of the blue. They recognize the importance of it. They know it's in here in their backyard. We've had the State Transportation Board member down here. We have rattled the trees. So,
well, and
we will continue to do that.
Somebody else is paying for it, so it's kind of hard to say, write a check.
But their dollar, our dollar, still practically the same amount of time. And I remind everybody
Their dollar is our dollar.
And I remind everybody that, you know, several years ago, we had an engineering study done of that bridge, and we were told $800,000 to $1 million to put a Band-Aid on it, and it can close the day after you finish the project, because it's no guarantees that the Band-Aid will hold. So it hasn't fallen on deaf ears. There's been a lot of work, and Jason, I appreciate your work on that. So we'll keep working. Do you have anything? No.
That's it. That's all I got.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either. So, okay. All right. That'll do it. I have a motion to go into executive session personnel.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're going to executive. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
I want to stand up so bad.
We're still live. We're still live.
I can't just go home in bed.
We're still live.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna wind down.
I'll send you what you need. Tell me what you want. I was printing them for you and you stopped getting them, so I started.
You got my number too. I ain't got no phone call. You did a good job tonight. Call
I'm in here since.
It's not an evaluation.
I just go home and
It's
it's
full. It's designed to.
But I did have a meeting where the head engineer.
Because it's not just an interview.
And he
Yeah, it's the full-blown renovation.
And
well,
I've had a little bit more one-on-one with them, because I helped to do the interview process, so that's why I'm a little bit more comfortable.